Because so many times we get stuck thinking, oh, what's the new thing I can do? What's the new thing I can add in, without realizing so much of what we do is holding us back. You're no longer on a linear growth curve. You're now on an exponential growth curve. You're accelerating so much faster, progressing so much faster. How in the world can you expect yourself to be a high performer if you are putting the most worthless processed junk in your body? There's no healthy diet in the world that lets you eat fast food every day. All right, welcome back to the Superhuman Entrepreneur Podcast. My name is Dr. Jeremy Epson, and this is the podcast for high-performing entrepreneurs. So if that's you, if you want to learn how to get yourself dialed in, get your business dialed in, get your marriage dialed in, that's what we're going to talk about how you can truly become your best version of yourself. So today we're going to talk about a super important principle, which is the 80-20 rule. So many times we've heard this multiple cases. We're going to talk about how we can apply it in life. And really my favorite application of this book, of this principle, is the book, The 10X is Easier Than 2X by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. And so Dr. Hardy does a great job in kind of explaining this process and even showing so many examples of entrepreneurs who have up-leveled at a high pace to truly get the best results in their life, in their business, in their marriages, all those things. Because so many times we get stuck thinking, oh, what's the new thing I can do? What's the new thing I can add in, without realizing that so much of what we do is holding us back. So that 80-20 rule, that 80% is holding us back from being the best version of ourselves and leveling up. And so that's what we're going to talk about. What is that 80% and how we can eliminate it? And truly, it's different for everyone. And so we need to we're going to talk about how we can help you find out what it is for you to truly help leveling up. With progression, and just an idea on this that I've been thinking about a lot, is progression in life is there's kind of two options. One is like the linear, the 2X version. If you read Ben Hardy's book, the 2X version is just the slow. Let's just get a little bit better, like every day, a little bit better, just doing a little bit more of what you're doing. That's the 2X growth curve. And some people have a very flat 2X growth curve, and they're not really actually progressing. They're kind of stuck where they are, and sometimes even decline. But when we apply this principle correctly, the 80-20 principle, we're not 2Xing. We're trying to 10X. We're trying to superhuman, up-level ourselves in a short period of time. Because really, that's the potential that we have. There's so much potential that we have to be able to unlock levels of high performance like that. When we can truly drop out that 80%, that 20% becomes your 100%. You're no longer on a linear growth curve. You're now on an exponential growth curve. You're accelerating so much faster, progressing so much faster. And so like I said, definitely read that book. It's one of my favorite books. It definitely helped me in my entrepreneur journey. When I was at my lowest, was right about the same time that book came out. And as I read that, like, I can actually measure, I feel like, even almost sometimes down to the day when those 10X jumps happened in my life, whether that's in energy and focus, whether that's financial, whether it's my marriage, whether all the different things, there's like 10X cumulative jumps that have happened multiple times since then. So that's what we want to help you to be able to do. What is that 80% that's holding you back? So it could be lots of things. One of the biggest ones, and we've talked about this already on our podcast, is what we're putting in our mouth. How in the world can you expect yourself to be a high performer if you are putting the most worthless processed junk in your body, right? Just like if you had a fancy Ferrari, you wouldn't just, go park it in the middle of a dirt parking lot and ignore it forever. No, you'd be taking care of it. You'd be giving it the best gas. You'd be doing the oil changes all the time. All the different things. Maybe someday I'll have a Ferrari that I can know all the details of how to take care of a Ferrari. But, our body is so much more valuable than that. Why are we putting such crappy food in our body? And this was in my own experience, when I eliminated the junk. It was one of the fastest jumps in my physical performance and my health. And it's different for everyone. A couple episodes ago, we talked about the N=1 testing for yourself, figuring out what works best for you. And I'm a firm believer that there's not one diet for everyone. But for me, I found that when I switched to the carnivore diet, that I noticed a huge difference in almost every part of my physical energy, my physical performance, how my body functioned. Was really beneficial. And so there's definitely benefits for that. So that worked for me. It might work for you. The goal is to figure out what works best for you, because principles of a good diet, whether it's a carnivore diet, whether it's a vegan diet or Mediterranean diet or anywhere in between, there are some core principles that you need. And that first part is eliminating the junk. There's no healthy diet in the world that lets you eat fast food every day. It just doesn't happen. And if you want to believe the social media influencers and think, all it is about calories and macros, okay, well, that's what we used to think in the 80s and 90s. We're definitely much more evolved when it comes to how we actually understand what's going on in our body. Not that those aren't important. There's so many things you need to get dialed in before the macros and the calories can make the biggest difference. So yeah, figuring out what diet works for you. And so that diet needs to have no crap, so no processed foods, no chemicals, none of those things, and needs to be able to also provide all of your daily nutrition that you need. So there's essential vitamins, essential minerals, essential nutrients, essential fatty acids, essential amino acids. They're called essential because they are essential for you to get them in. Because if you don't, you get sick. Hey, Dr. J here. If you like what you're hearing on this podcast and like the information that we're providing, be sure to subscribe and leave a review and like the podcast, because it helps us to be able to expand our reach to find other entrepreneurs. Your support helps us to reach other entrepreneurs and help us to help them truly unlock their superhuman potential and make the world a better place. And so there's a big long list of all of them, right? We'll post a link in the show notes and you can look at that. But you need to make sure, are you getting all of your B vitamins? Are you getting vitamin C? Are you getting all the amino acids that you need? Are you getting all the fatty acids that you need? Because as you do that, that actually gives your body the building blocks to be able to build a better cell. Because if you don't get those nutrients, like if you're not getting your essential fatty acids, EPA and DHA, what they are, if you're not getting those in at an amount that your body needs, you're going to be deteriorating. Because over time, this diet principle is one of the big reasons why people think that normal just to get old. All those things that are just attached to just getting old come from that. So you need to make sure you're giving your body those building blocks. Like I said, whether it's a carnivore diet or a vegan diet or anywhere in between, you need all those building blocks in your body. So that's number one. Number two, you need to make sure you're getting high quality sleep. Sleep is so important. It's so underrated. The better you sleep, the better you're going to perform the next day, for sure. And so getting that dialed in is so much better than cold plunging in the morning or the fancy biohack or the expensive peptide or whatever. Sleep is essential. We'll have a few episodes in the future that dive in more specifically about sleep and sleep ideas and how to optimize that, because it's definitely something that entrepreneurs struggle with. As I talk with more and more entrepreneurs, either they can fall asleep basically all day long and they can't sleep at night, or they're definitely something you need to get dialed in. Sleep's there, and then you need to be exercising. So third is there. So in your 80%, are you actually exercising? And are you actually doing exercise that's going to be beneficial for you? So many times people spend a lot of effort doing just cardio exercising and going for a jog or training for a marathon. And not that those are bad, but we need to be doing the right exercises that are going to be building health long-term. And like I said, it's not that cardio is bad, but are you actually getting resistance training in? Are you building muscle, building strength? Because studies show, for heart health, a resistance training program can be just as beneficial for you probably a lot of times better than going run a marathon. Because running a marathon is great, but it's not the best way to lose weight. It's not the best way to build up your heart health. There's lots of other ways. And also can take a lot of time. But if you have a goal to run an Ironman competition, totally fine. Go ahead and do that. But just make sure you're doing everything you can to optimize your body as well. And then there's lots of other things that can fit into that 80% of things that are slowing you back. How you're managing your time, how you're managing your stress, all those things. And definitely on the business side of things, we want to be able to get those dialed in. Are you still the one that's answering your own emails and doing a lot of the basic, administrative duties? There's whole books on, buying back your time. Definitely a great book from Dan Martell to be able to get those dialed in, because you need to, if you're going to be performing like a superhuman entrepreneur at a multi-million-dollar level, you cannot be spending your time doing those low-level tasks. There's someone else that you can train and build up and strengthen that can thrive in that spot. So get that dialed in. Make sure your day is optimized. Make sure you're doing those things that are going to be the work. And that same idea applies all across your life. Get that dialed in. And some of my clients that I've worked with are the super high performers. They built a system that has eliminated that 80%, but then those really good things, their system helps them thrive and focus so they can really get dialed in. They get all their health stuff done really quick, in 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, sometimes even less. And depending on the day, they do a little bit more. Building in that routine that's going to help you to be successful is what leads to long-term success. Because then as we eliminate that first 80% and we've leveled up and the 20% that was pushing you forward now becomes your 100%, you will be at a new level. And then guess what? You get to do it again. So there's a new 80-20. So what's the new 80% that's holding you back and the 20% that's pushing you forward? So we can remove that 80% and replace it with more good stuff and helping you to dial up. And so as we go and as I work with clients, those are the fun things that we get to do to help people really reach high levels of health and performance, where I've had a high performer lose 30 pounds of fat and build 15, 20 pounds of muscle in 6 months. Like crazy things like that can be really fun to get things dialed in. And those are things that happen when you get your health dialed in, when you really optimize yourself. So becoming a superhuman entrepreneur is not all about doing the new fun, fancy biohacks. So the peptides, the stem cells, the blah, blah, blah. those are really fun. But the bigger part is eliminating that 80% that's holding you back. And so getting that dialed in is so essential. Challenge I have for you is, pick something. If you know what's something holding you back, whether it's, alcohol or the fast food or the super high level business guy I was talking to last week, he sent me a picture. He has a bunch of candy all around his office. Like, just throw the candy out. Why? It's not helping you. It's just, a little mint or whatever. What do you need to eliminate? And then post it on social media and tag us on the post, and we'll kind of see what progress we're making. And who knows, maybe you'll inspire someone else to become a better version of themselves as well. If this information, if you like it, if it resonates with you, if you want to help others on the journey of becoming a superhuman entrepreneur, subscribe, rate this podcast, share it with people, with other entrepreneurs. We're out here to help change the world, and it happens one entrepreneur at a time. So keep being your best self and becoming superhuman. If you're enjoying the podcast, help us reach more entrepreneurs like you by leaving a review. As a thank you, everyone who leaves a 5-star review will be entered into a drawing for some exciting prizes. We are here to help you more than just listen. Head over to superhumanentrepreneur.com, click on community, and join a powerful network of entrepreneurs that are striving to be their best. Each episode includes action steps, resources, and accountability to help you to implement these ideas and start seeing results.